Episode 9 is said to have many different twists and turns, as well as surprises by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people are really interested in when it comes to this movie is exactly how J.J. Abrams is going to treat the character of Luke Skywalker and his interactions between both Kylo Ren and Rey in this film. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this movie when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with both characters, Kylo Ren and Rey, as well as the Jedi Master himself, Luke Skywalker. Specifically, a description of what Mark Hamill actually shot a sequence over at Cardington with both Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver over at Cardington, where it's described all three of them were standing near each other. It's described that Hamill delivered dialogue that was in the form of a lecture of the Force to both Kylo Ren and Rey. Another sequence involved a 360-degree green screen around both Hamill, Driver, and Ridley, in which is to be replaced with heavy CGI and visual effects, in which Hamill was delivering dialogue about the history of the Jedi and the Sith. It's said to be a scene that takes place in an ancient Jedi temple of sorts. Additionally, a sequence was shot in which both Ridley and Driver were both lifted by wires in mid-air while Hamill was standing on the ground. It's described that both Daisy and Adam were sitting on boulders while they were being lifted up in the air. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this that are going to be very excited about this movie when it all comes to, of course, the characters of Luke, Rey, and Kylo Ren. Now, first things first, alright? The big thing that I do want to go over is how this is most definitely the set that we heard about, I would say 3 months ago, that was being built over at Cardington and Pinewood at the same exact time, that would involve both Hamill, Daisy, and of course Adam Driver to act in one of the scenes for the third act of the movie that involved a Jedi temple. Now, we do know that Mark Hamill actually had a lot of scenes with both Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver, both together and separately, of course, in this film. So, Mark Hamill delivering a lecture, delivering dialogue in the form of a lecture about the Force, and of course, the history of the Jedi and the Sith, inside of this whole entire set that had a 360-degree green screen around all three actors. Now, this to me sounds like that JJ is really trying to do something very special for the character of Luke Skywalker. Now, my big guess here is that this is most definitely, and it just has to be, the moment in which we do see the Force Ghost version of Luke Skywalker talking to both Kylo Ren and Rey at the same exact time. But this is where things begin to really pick up and get very intriguing, is the sequence in which, alright, both Daisy and Adam were being lifted by wirework in the air while sitting on boulders inside of this large Jedi temple. Now, this to me sounds like something right out of, something like has to do with Legends and EU material. I don't know if you guys read a lot of the books out there, but it sounds something like what we actually read before in Legends. Now, we do know that J.J. Abrams is throwing in a lot of Legends material in Episode 9 that's really going to resonate with a lot of the hardcore fans around the world that really do, love the EU and the Legends books and novels and comics. So now with this whole entire sequence where we have Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, like I say, most likely in the form of a Force Ghost. There's no confirmation on whether or not he's a Force Ghost in this sequence, but I think it's pretty safe to say so, right? Now, with that being said, the whole sequence where Hamill is delivering dialogue in the form of a lecture, talking about the ways of the Force, the Jedi and the Sith, and the history of it all, it sounds similar to the sequence that we heard about from Kylo Ren to Rey not too long ago. So this may very well tie directly into the same exact Jedi temple that leads to the sequence involving Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker. Now, we do know that J.J. Abrams wants to do something very unique and surprising for the characters of course, Luke, Kylo, and Rey together in the same exact sequence. Now, JJ's really trying to create these surreal moments in Episode 9, something that we have never seen before in a Star Wars movie. So this Jedi Temple, could it be something very similar in a sense to Star Wars Rebels Season 4 that leads into the Worlds Between Worlds? Is that a big possibility? It most definitely is. Now, as far as Luke Skywalker goes, I know a lot of you guys are pretty much, hating the idea of him being in the form of a Force ghost or him being in the form of a flashback. I totally understand that. But as long as they do something very satisfying for the fans in the forms of the flashbacks, where Luke does get a lot of action, in which he will in this movie, but the Force ghost side of things is where things really do have to be played out correctly, right? I think that they really do need to really treat that on a different level here. They really do have to do something different than what they did with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda, and that's exactly what JJ is doing. He's going to be giving us a different type of Force ghost of Luke Skywalker that we have never seen before on the big screen. So could this very well be that Luke's Force ghost is just going to appear as if he is alive, or is it going to be something else entirely, where he's able to perform these new types of powers in the story? Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.